Good afternoon. I'm Dr. Terry Klinger. I'm the Associate Dean for Nursing at Piedmont Virginia Community College, and I want to welcome all of you to the 2019 Nursing Pinning and Awards ceremony. So students, today is a momentous day for you. You came here with a dream, and now it has become a reality. Today you have met the challenge, still full of excitement as when you first began, but now confident in your new abilities to heal the sick and be the light for those in need. Becoming a nurse is not just a job, but a calling. John F. Kennedy said, "We choose to do this not because it is easy, but because it is hard." Caring for patients can be the most difficult and rewarding of experiences. We are there as a new life is welcomed into the world, when life ends in a peaceful death, and for everything in between. One of my favorite nursing theorists, Virginia Henderson, once said, "The nurse is temporarily the conscious of the unconscious, the love of life for the suicidal, the leg of the amputee, the eyes of the newly blind, a means of locomotion for the infant, the knowledge and confidence of a young mother, and a voice for those too weak to speak." So now as you are a nurse, become the lifeline for those who have lost their way. Restore health to those who are facing illness and provide support to the family as they hope for a good outcome. There will be days when you say, "I am so glad I became a nurse," and there will be days when you struggle. In those times, reach out to a colleague for support, because as caregivers, we must remember to care for ourselves. Nursing is not glamorous, but it is essential to life. Nurses perform tasks others would not dream of, but we do these tasks knowing that this is what our patients need. Nurses in a moment's notice will become teachers, case managers, social workers, and even housekeepers, and the confidant, as patients will tell nurses things they have not told anyone else. In those moments, be open to hear and slow to judge, because our patients need for us to see them, not the illness. Florence Nightingale says in her book, Notes on Nursing, "If a nurse declines to do these kind things because it is not their business, then nursing is not their calling." I would also like to acknowledge the family and friends that are here today. Thank you for your support of our students as they achieve their dream of becoming a nurse. So now I would like to introduce our esteemed guests. We have Dr. Frank Friedman, who is the president of Piedmont Virginia Community College. Dr. John Donnelly, who is vice president for Instruction and Student Services. Dr. Jean Chappell, who is the dean of Health and Life Sciences. Dr. Amanda Coyle, our guest speaker. Sylvia Dow, our Scholarship and Alumni Association coordinator. Elise Walsh, our clinical compliance coordinator, and who we could not do our jobs without. And of course, our wonderful faculty that helped you get to where you are today. Professor Irene Agahawa, Professor Karen Bloomfield, Professor Sharman Brooks, Professor Lorraine Collins, Professor Wendy Dement, Professor Kelly Farnsworth, Professor Marlene Mayberry, Professor Sarah Reed, and Professor Jane Anderson. And then we have our wonderful adjunct faculty that are here with us, Christy Shordle, Buki Akinola, and Pam Salisbury Smith. And I would like to welcome to the podium Dr. Frank Friedman.
Thank you, Terry. How come I didn't get all those woo-hoos? What is this? I know the answer. Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the College Board and the faculty and staff of Piedmont Virginia Community College, it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's pinning ceremony for the class of 2019. A quick quiz. You thought you were done with quizzes. You're not done. What was last Sunday? I knew you'd say Mother's Day, but that's only part of the answer. It was Florence Nightingale's 199th birthday. In fact, May 6 to 12 each year is National Nurses Week, ending on the birth date of the founder of modern nursing. It is a week designated to salute the 4 million registered nurses in the United States. What an appropriate time for these 72 students to graduate from PVCC and soon join the over 1,800 PVCC nursing graduates who are working in hospitals and doctors' offices throughout our nation, but mostly here in Central Virginia. In recognition of Nurses Week, I also want to salute the outstanding nurses comprising the PVCC nursing faculty. Please join me in another big woo-hoo for all of them who are preparing the next generation of nurses. I want to congratulate each and every graduate, and of course you, their family members. We're so glad that you are here. Each of the graduates has their own personal story about overcoming barriers, academic barriers, personal barriers, financial barriers, to achieve this goal and claim their piece of the American dream. I must say my favorite part of pinning each year is the reading of the graduates' dedications. We will hear stories of long hours of study, time spent away from families, and stories of love, encouragement, and support, without which these graduates might not be here today. Graduates, you inspire me. Your success is this college's success. We succeed only when you succeed. Graduates, I want to leave you with one thought. You've come through an extremely rigorous program. I know that you have acquired the knowledge and the skills to do your job effectively. But your job takes more than knowledge and skill. Never forget that you will be dealing with people. People who might be sick, people who might be scared. No matter how many patients you see in a day, no matter how many days in a row you've worked, no matter how many years you've been a nurse, each patient needs your full attention, your caring, your compassion. Each needs to feel that they are your most important patient. As Maya Angelou put it, they may forget your name, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So graduates, on behalf of the College Board and the faculty and staff of PVCC, I welcome you to the nursing profession. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you, Dr. Friedman. Now I would like to welcome to the podium Dr. Jean Chappell, the Dean of Health and Life Science.
On behalf of the faculty and staff of the Division of Health and Life Sciences, I too would like to welcome you to the 2019 Associate Degree Nursing pinning ceremony. This is truly a day of celebration for all of you. Pinning now, and in a few short hours, the commencement ceremony honoring your graduation and the end of your journey. This is a magical time of year, and there are many similar celebrations across the country. Following these celebrations, millions of graduates will enter the workplace in thousands of communities across the United States. In fact, according to the Department of Labor, there are approximately 16 million healthcare jobs in the United States. Of these, there are approximately 86,000 RNs, LPNs in Virginia alone. You are each one of a mighty force, and you should be proud. You likely have heard many times that nursing is one of the most trusted professions. Perhaps you have wondered if this is really true. Well, it is true. Since 1976, Gallup has polled Americans on the honesty and ethics of various professions. Nursing was added in 1999, and since then has topped the list. This year, nurses ranked 82%. But just to kind of put that in perspective, military personnel were the second highest at 71%. Grade school teachers were 66%, and doctors, we love our doctors, they were only 65%. You are proudly now one of the 82. The millions of nurses that came before you paid it forward and earned for you this belief through their ethical behavior. They paid it forward. And you are the beneficiary of their kindness, trust, and worthiness. As you leave here today and go to work, remember that next year's Gallup poll will include you. And next year's graduate nurses will be judged by how your compassion is shown, how you show compassion to your patients, the kindness that you show the vulnerable, and the strength of your ethical behavior in the face of challenging situations. I wonder what that score will be. Well, I've come to know many of you over these last years, and from what I have seen, it's going to be 100%. I have no doubt. In closing, I add a word from Booker T. Washington. Few things help an individual more than to place responsibility upon him and to let him know that you trust him. As graduates of Piedmont, we place our trust in you, and so does the community, because you've earned it. Your responsible behavior, competence, and kindness earned you the trust of your community, your friends, your colleagues, and your family. Congratulations on this very special day, and I want to thank each of you sincerely for choosing PVCC to be part of your educational journey.
Thank you, Dr. Chappell. And before I introduce the student speakers, I also want to acknowledge we have one of our other vice presidents here, Harry Stillman. He is our vice president for institutional advancement, and he is here supporting us, and we thank him for being here. So now I'd like to introduce our student speakers. We have a student speaker from our day track, and we also have a student speaker from our evening weekend track. And we're going to start with our student from the day class, and that is Ms. Kelly Russo.
Good afternoon to all of you, my amazing peers, my professors, and our loved ones. 2 years ago at this time, we had all just gotten our acceptance letters. We were excited, proud, hopeful, because, you know, ignorance is bliss. Fast forward a few months, and we found ourselves being handed a paper nurse's cap by Heather and having our mug shots taken. By this point, we were still excited, but getting a little nervous. Heather held our hand, though, and guided us through that semester. And we naively walked into second semester, tentatively confident. But then, well, pharmacology happened, and 18-page care plans happened, and all or nothing select all that apply questions happened. There was no sleep, a lot of caffeine, tears. Frankly, we were really questioning our life choices at this point. And if you ask us how we did it, we'd say, absolutely no idea. Or we may point to the love and support of our friends, family, and professors. And this is a good point to stop and say a big thank you to all of our professors who took us on this journey. Thank you for your knowledge, your support, and we say both a sorry and a thank you for being our common enemy when that's what we needed as well. And then finally, we made it to fourth semester. Once we figured out how to pass the dimensions quiz, things were pretty smooth sailing. Our paperwork was down to 2 pages, and we got to snuggle babies and witness the miracle of life. We got jobs, and most importantly, sleep became a thing that we did again, and it was glorious. And now here we stand, ready to graduate. But that's not the whole story. Because while we struggled through learning the side effects of 18,000 drugs and sleuthing out the mystery of the endocrine system, our lives didn't stop. All of those tests and care plans overlaid 2 years of our personal journeys as well. We've had babies, and we've lost babies. We've gotten married, and we've lost husbands. We've gotten divorced or struggled with relationships. We've celebrated the purchase of a home, and we've also had financial hardships. We've experienced all of life's joys and stresses, big and small, on top of shedding tears over failed tests and overwhelming assignments. And we did all of this with the support of each other. Every loss, every amazing life high, it was these women and men sitting with me that supported each other and mourned and celebrated together. There were professors who took the time to see our lives beyond what was happening in the classroom. And it was all of these people who we hugged and cried with at 6:30 in the morning and who helped us find the strength to carry on and get the job done. So it is not the failed third test in PEDS that I'm going to remember. I mean, maybe I haven't completely forgotten that one yet. But what I choose to take away from nursing school is way more than test scores and care plans, which I'm hoping will fade into the background like the pains of childbirth. I will take away the people, because nursing is people. Relationships, compassion, love, and trust. In the coming months, we will all trade in our paper hat from Heather and put on the official proverbial nursing hat. And we will be the best nurses that we can be because of each other. Thank you.
Thank you, and now I'd like to welcome our student speaker from the evening class, Ms. Robin Chandler.
Hello. I am Robin, and I am proud to be an evening weekend student. Oh, my lovely evening weekend friends. We really are a scrappy group, aren't we? We started with 30, and dwindled down to 20. But not only are we scrappy, we're gritty, because we had so much going on when we were in school, and we had so many things that we had to conquer in order to be here today. Audience, allow me to demonstrate for a moment. If you're an evening weekend student and you worked a job during nursing school, stand up. Yep, that's everybody. Okay. And if you are an evening weekend student and you were a parent, stand up. Let's see. Stand up if you saw your family, you saw your nursing school friends more than you saw your family. Again, that's going to be everybody. Now, just for fun, raise your hands if you ever felt personally victimized by a nursing school test. Was it Kelly's? Yeah, thought so. And raise your hand if you stayed up past midnight to complete care plans on more than one occasion. Again, I say everyone. So see, we had to have each other's backs. I even know of one student who would work a night shift, collect her patient information in the afternoon, work on care plans until 4 a.m., sleep somewhere in the hospital, and then go to clinical all day. Now that's scrappy and gritty. I once had a friend ask me, why is nursing school so hard? And I started going through all of the care plans and the clinical hours, but what it really boils down to is the speed with which we had to do all of this. I'm telling you, we went from learning how to wash your hands and make a bed, and then in the blink of an eye, we were starting IVs and packing wounds. We went from feeding patients in nursing homes to caring for patients on mechanical ventilation in 3 weeks. There was no resting. There was only sprinting for 2 years. Not only did we have to amass an incredible amount of information and knowledge, we also had to conquer fears and fast. For instance, we have a fellow student, shall go unnamed, who is terrified of fecal matter. When this student started, she would rather put her foot in a George Foreman grill than ever deal with that bodily function. Why she thought she could become a nurse is honestly beyond me. Just kidding, it's because she's brilliant. Anyway, so sitting here in front of you now, this student hardly even dry heaves when she has to deal with the soiled brief, and that is progress. Another evening weekend student has conquered her fears of giving injections. When this dear friend gave her first injection, she made the most unforgettable, unintelligible sound out of sheer fear. She didn't even know it was coming out of her mouth. I'm telling you, her second injection was no better. She went to give this injection and just started saying, sorry, 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 which is not what you want to hear from your nurse. But again, this student has overcome her fears, mastered that skill and many others, and will be representing PVCC in the ICU setting at UVA. Ow! Some things will always stick with me, like those stories, but some other things I wish I could forget about nursing school. Shall we delve? Diagnosing every single one of my classmates and my family members with personality disorders while in psych. Thank you, Karen and Wendy. I would love to forget about care plans. We would go to the hospitals on Friday afternoons, gather all of our patient information, then speed home to finish our care plans by 2 a.m. when our brains would invariably turn to mush. My sweet husband would make dinner and set it outside of the door because he knew if he came in, he would not recognize that crazed lunatic sitting at the desk, feverishly trying to make connections between lab values and nursing diagnoses. The poor man had married a care plan gremlin. The last thing I want to forget about nursing school is that feeling of wanting to quit. I very distinctly remember saying, I can do this, but I don't want to anymore. And I know I was not alone. Now for some of the things that I will never forget about nursing school. I will never forget that parenteral feeding has nothing to do with parents. I'll also never be able to say that word. I don't think any of us will forget how much we had to rely on each other. I'm talking 3 a.m. texts about care plans, study guides, and general help out of spirals and breakdowns. I don't think that some of us will forget that ambulating has nothing to do with an ambulance. Personally, I never want to forget how excited I was about my first patient's diagnosis, idiopathic thrombocytopenia purpura. I practiced it all the way to clinical, over and over, idiopathic thrombocytopenia purpura. I was so excited to present my patient in pre-conference. So silly. Some of us will never forget that Chuck's pads are not actually named after someone named Chuck. So don't ask who he is. And lastly, I never want to forget some of the things that our professors taught us, like Karen, who taught us to treat every patient like they were our family member, and Sarah, who taught us to never call a cervix incompetent, and to stop naming female body processes after men. Just stop it. Thank you. Thank you. And then there was Buki, who taught us, well, everything. But mostly to be brave and to never go in the weeds because she's going to chase you. And let's see, what about Tracy? She taught us to look at our patients and always ask, what can't I afford to miss? And while he's not one of our teachers, I think we have a lot to learn from Dwight Schrute when he said, whenever I'm about to do something, I think, would an idiot do that? And then I do not do that thing. Right there. 35 years ago, my grandmother, Rita Barnett, I'm not going to get through this, gave a commencement speech at UVA's nursing school where she was an instructor. She sent me her speech as she was not able to come today. You see, I have no wisdom to give you. I know you're shocked. So I will let my grandmother give you some. You see, at 92, she was the original Gritty and Scrappy. Before she was an instructor, she was a member of the U.S. Cadet Nursing Corps in World War II, and I am wearing her pin today. Sorry. So I will give you her list of factors for success in nursing and in life. 1, succeed by helping others to succeed. 2, inspect, don't expect. 3, bloom where you're planted. And 4, believe in a power greater than yourself. The last thing I'll leave you with is what the amazing human we know as Tracy Sansasio taught us. She said, it is a privilege to be a nurse, and that we don't have to become hardened by this profession. And in fact, if we let it, nursing can make us better people. Let's make that our goal. Congrats to us all.
Thank you, Robin. And now we would like to introduce our keynote speaker. Dr. Amanda Coyle is a nurse educator and a nurse practitioner. She received her doctorate in health practice research from the University of Rochester School of Nursing. Her research focused on those without health insurance and how that affected their social, economic, and health decisions. She has been a nationally certified family nurse practitioner for over a decade. Clinically, she has worked in a variety of settings, including acute and primary care, in both rural and urban locations. She has also worked as a nurse in humanitarian disasters abroad in Haiti and West Africa. She continues to actively practice while teaching in an urban safety net clinic for medically and socially complex patients. Dr. Coyle is currently an assistant professor at the Johns Hopkins School of Nursing. She teaches nurse practitioner students in the Advanced Practice DNP program. I'd like to welcome to the podium Dr. Amanda Coyle.
It is truly a privilege to be on this stage speaking with you today. This is one of the times in the academic year that I am most excited. It is a time when we all get to pause and take a moment to reflect on what we have gone through to get to this day and look forward with excitement to what is possible. I'm going to confess right from the beginning so that you know my biases. I love to call myself a nurse. It is one of the primary ways in which I define myself. Next to raising my family, I think it is the thing that I am most proud of. From the moment I entered nursing school, through my career, and standing here today, it never changes. I am a nurse. I say it often. I say it with pride. I still say it with awe, grateful that I have had the life opportunities that brought me to this amazing profession. But I also know I did not get here myself. I also want to start out by acknowledging all of the people it took to support getting you all here to this day. Whether it is your family of origin or your family of choice, I want to take a moment to honor all the family members and the support people who supported your journey to get to this day. Please give them all a round of applause. I also want to take a moment to acknowledge all of the nurses in the audience. So if you are in the audience, if you are a nurse, working, or retired, please stand so that we can thank you for being a member of this truly great profession. Could be my favorite part. And this is also a moment when I want to acknowledge my own family. I am the incredibly proud mother of one of the nursing graduates, who I will not look at because I will cry. She now makes the third generation of nurses in our family. We also have in our family 2 other nurses, one that I taught with and one who I had a hand in teaching. And we have one more about to start nursing this fall. Not only does nursing define me, but it is also a major definition of our family. I also want to take one last moment to acknowledge the first-generation nurse in our family. She was the matriarch. She died at 95, and being a nurse defined her as well. Her first nursing job was to care for injured soldiers returning from World War II. She worked at the bedside until her mid-70s and then retired, only to then volunteer into her 80s as a hospice nurse. She had a long and varied and satisfying career and inspired many. But long ago, she sat exactly where you all sat, excited but unsure of where life as a nurse was going to take her. I too sat where all you are sitting almost 2 decades ago. I am sure you are filled with a mix of emotions, joy that you are at the end of this journey, excitement at the start of your nursing career, but also a bit of anxiety and fear too. Fear of passing your NCLEX, anxiety about finding the right fit of a job, a bit of uncertainty that you can even do this. But I am here to reassure you, I had those exact same concerns, same exact fears, same exact anxieties. I say with absolute assuredness that it will all work out. And that even though the path from here may yet be uncharted or a little unclear, know that you have chosen a profession, and with that choice, a purposeful philosophy of being that will hold you in good standing for the journey of life that is yet to come. I have had the good fortune to have had a varied career. All nurses can say the same. It is one of the benefits of this profession. I have been a patient care technician, a bedside registered nurse, a nurse practitioner, and a nurse educator. I have worked in a busy urban emergency department and in a rural farming community. I have cared for people here and abroad. I have cared for those whose lives were destroyed in the January 2010 Haitian earthquake. And I've been at the bedside in West Africa in the middle of the worst Ebola epidemic of our time. As a nurse educator, I feel it is my responsibility to share what I learned from my work as a nurse with my students, as I fully expect my students to continue to teach me and help me grow by sharing with me what they experience too. So I will share some of what I have learned with you now. These are things for which I am very grateful I have experienced as they continue to mold and shape how I practice and how I move about my world. In late 2014, early 2015, I traveled to Sierra Leone, a small country in West Africa, which was devastated by Ebola. I worked in an Ebola treatment unit, an ETU for short. I felt compelled to go, having watched in disbelief that we, as an international community, were again stigmatizing those who suffered from an infectious disease, similar to what occurred with the onset of HIV and AIDS. Not only were victims of Ebola stigmatized, but healthcare workers responding to caring for Ebola victims were stigmatized here and abroad as well. As I watched all this play out, I felt that as nurses, we are trained as scientists, leaders, researchers, and humanitarians. We are knowledgeable in public health, and we are compassionate caregivers. I am a nurse. With those simple words comes a powerful responsibility to act, so I made the decision to go to West Africa. Ebola is even more horrific than you can imagine. It tore families apart, mothers lost their children, children lost their parents and became orphans. Often, all but 1 or 2 members of families died. These scenes played out day after day. Though we had some medical supplies, our resources and personnel were so limited that we were unable to provide care to those critically ill in the tradition in which we have become accustomed to in the United States. I relied on the fundamentals of nursing. I reached way back in my education and my training. One morning, I was in the ETU. A man, an Ebola survivor, who was caring for his son inside of the ETU, came to the fence barrier between the red zone, where he was, and the green zone, where I was, to talk to me. He came to the fence to tell me his 14-month-old had just died in his arms. His wife had died previously of Ebola in that same ETU. This man was the only survivor of his family. He was devastated, broken. "I have lost everything," he said. "I have nothing left." And I felt powerless to help him. As we shared little common language, and there was a 3-foot protective barrier between us. The silence was deafening as he stood there with tears streaming down his face, unable to fully express his grief to me. We are taught as nurses to do something. We are taught to assess, make a plan, act on that plan. And most times we are encouraged to act with speed and confidence. We as nurses are empowered to believe we can make a difference. At that moment, I wanted to make a difference. At that moment, I was desperate to fix something, though I knew I could not. And then from the far recesses of my mind, there came the face and the voice of one of my nursing professors. Like you, I have nursing professors whose influence and whose behaviors and whose encouragement I carry with me even to this day. And in that desperate moment, I could see her face in my mind, hear her voice, and feel her calming presence. And I knew if she were standing right beside me, she would counsel me that sometimes presence was all we had. Sometimes presence was all we could do for our patients, and it was an important thing to do. And though it would fix nothing, presence would have to be enough in that moment. My nursing professor's presence, deep in my mind and in my heart and in my past, at that moment, settled me. Her presence to me in the past allowed me to be present to that beautiful man. He and I stood in the hot sun and just cried together, barrier between us and all. I did not leave him as he cried. I fixed nothing, but I did not leave him. I was present, and in that moment, it had to be enough. One of the things I struggled the most with was the answer to the question, did I do enough? Did I make any difference at all in the fight to eradicate Ebola? Early upon my return back to the classroom, teaching our critical care course, one of my students began to answer that for me. Tucked quietly in the end of her clinical journal entry, she wrote about being in awe of all the machines, medications, and sophisticated interventions she observed in her first day of critical care clinical. Things I so wished we had access to in West Africa. But it was this that she said that really spoke to me. She said, sitting there holding the patient's hand was by far the best part of the day. Too often, it seems like individuals can get caught up and forget how much it can mean to be patient, to the patient to just have that human touch. I had overlooked the value of both presence and human touch in preference of longing for critical care intervention and being enraged by its absence. But my student had not. My student reminded me of a valuable lesson. Perhaps, however, I am most challenged right now working in the United States of America, in the middle of the beautiful and very complex city that I now call home, Baltimore, Maryland. I work in a safety net clinic to provide care for medically and socially complex patients being discharged from the hospital or the emergency department. We exist to provide the best health and social care to those in our society who we marginalize, we overlook, or I dare say we even throw away. Good health is nothing but a lovely thought for many of the patients that I see. Some of the same health indicators in the city of Baltimore, such as life expectancy, maternal mortality, infant mortality, rival that of the abysmal health indicators of what I saw both in Haiti and in West Africa. I witness daily that right here in the U.S., the social determinants of health drive individual, community, and population health. Gun violence and opioid addiction, I can assure you, are thriving not only on the front pages of the news. Systemic poverty, poor quality housing, an unhealthy environment, subpar education, non-existent living wage job opportunities, being uninsured and therefore lacking access to high-quality health care are but a few of the social determinants of health that drive the outcomes of the patients that I see. I can practice all of the best evidence-based practice in the world, but without a system's ability to manage or a patient's ability to afford a prescribed medication, keep it from getting stolen in a homeless shelter, or without the health literacy to follow through on complex treatment regimens, the positive outcomes are elusive, hard-earned, and ethereal. I say this not at all as a political statement. I say this as a living, breathing truth that one cannot achieve good health by simply seeking care in one of the finest institutions in the country. The solutions are so complex. But being a part of the solutions is what nurses are finest at. Again, you are scientists, researchers, leaders, humanitarians, strong patient advocates on an individual, systems, and a policy level. You, are well suited to embrace these issues without fear and with an assessment, a plan, a movement, and yes, sometimes only presence. It is challenging to be sure. It challenges my mind, my heart, the very core of my being. Every day, I am humbled, frustrated, exhilarated, hopeful, crushed, that word. I run out of the words to describe my experiences sometimes. Sometimes there are small, short-lived victories, and some days I can only cry in sadness and frustration. But I am present. Some days it is all that I have. I am engaged in purposeful living, and purposeful and meaningful living is something nurses can excel at. So where am I going with all of this? There are several things I want to leave you with. You will not remember my story, you will not remember my words, but I will hope you remember my messages. You have made what I will argue is one of the best decisions of your life. You have chosen nursing as your profession. You are well prepared to go out in the world and embrace all that this profession has to offer. And you will be challenged, and you will learn, and you will grow from it. Being a nurse will be at the very core of who you are as a person. But despite how you are prepared for this journey, there will be times, more often than you know, when there will be limitations to what you can assess, plan, and do. But you are never limited in your presence. Sometimes that will be all you have. And when you find yourself asking if that's enough, you answer yourself that it has to be. Sometimes, many are incapable of even being present, but you are not. You are a nurse. You are called to this profession. And I want each of you to remember that with that very title comes this amazing responsibility to uphold the values of our profession, to care deeply for your patients and your communities, and to be present in the business of living. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share these thoughts with you. It has been a privilege, and everyone's been warm and welcoming. I wish all of you the very best.
Thank you, Dr. Coyle. And now I would like to welcome to the podium Sarah Reed, who will talk about the significance of the pen.
So the completion of a college degree is something to celebrate, any college degree. And some of you will later on tonight, maybe at the big graduation, in whatever way you choose. But this ceremony called pinning represents something unique to nursing. I wouldn't blame many friends and family members in this room if you thought, pinning? What's pinning? It's something near and dear to our hearts as nurse educators. So why a pin? In 1855, Queen Victoria presented Florence Nightingale with a pin for her service in the Crimea. It contained the symbol of the Maltese cross and the words, "Blessed are the merciful." In 1880, the first nursing pins awarded in the United States were earned by graduates of the Bellevue Hospital School of Nursing in New York. Other schools of nursing followed, each designing their own unique pin. Many of us are wearing our pins today. Before it was socially acceptable for women to go to college, before nursing established itself as an independent academic discipline, the pin represented the knowledge, skill, and dedication of the new nurse entering the profession. In 1974, the first graduating class of nurses at PVCC chose the emblem of the college as the design for our pin. This year, for the first time, our pin represents the PVCC colors. No one knows what it's like to get through nursing school except those who have done it. It's more than just letters after your name. The pin means you have endured and prevailed through many challenges. The pin means you are ready and able to enter a profession with a rich history and an exciting future. Your pin says, "I am a PVCC nurse," so wear it with pride.
Thank you. All right, graduates, it is that time. So I would like to welcome to our table Karen Bloomfield, Lorraine Collins, Jane Anderson, and Sylvia Dowell, who will do the presentation of the pins, and Ms. Kelly Farnsworth will begin our dedications.
Okay, let's have that first row stand, shall we? You can all stand. We're going to come around this way just in case you're confused. Okay. Bryn Aker. I want to thank my family and friends for always supporting, encouraging, and believing in me, even when I did not believe in myself. This dream would not be possible without your constant love and support. Rebecca Anderson. To my daughter, Lanaya, for always forgiving me when I had to study and still hugging me tight each night before bed. To Gavin, for always rooting me on, even when I thought I couldn't study a day more or when I was a complete grouch. Without the endless love of these two, I wouldn't have accomplished this much. Christy Apple. I want to thank my love, Jeremy, who not only picked up my slack, keeping our home and family functioning as I attended school and worked full-time, but decided he wanted to marry me in the midst of it. And to the ones who had sacrificed the most, Caden, Carly, and Riley, understand you three are my world and this was for you. To my entire family, I love you and thank you for your continued support. Linus Gian Aspen. Behold, you have instructed many, and you have strengthened the weak hands. Your words have upheld the stumbling, and you have made firm the feeble knees. You clothed me with skin and flesh, and knit me together with bones and sinews. You have granted me life and steadfast love, and your care has preserved my spirit. The book of Job, thank you for igniting the flame within, the flame that illuminates, the flame that inspires, the flame that warms. Brenda Lee Backey. I dedicate my success to the unconditional love, strength, and support of my husband. You kept me strong and constantly reminded me, if nursing was easy, everyone would do it. My mother for drying a lot of tears over the telephone and reminding me to put my big girl panties on and do it. My son Barry, your crazy sense of humor and laughter always make me laugh. Together, you are the wind beneath my wings. Aleda Baldelomar. First of all, I want to thank God for giving me the opportunity to be here today. I also want to thank my parents, my husband, and children for all the support I received to achieve my American dream. I also want to thank all the people who work on the financial aid and financial resources of the students and the scholarship department for all the support they gave me when I was struggling to survive. Thank you very much for those people who helped me reach my goal. They know who they are. Gracias a toda mi familia por apoyarme a conseguir mi sueño americano. Los quiero mucho y quiero que sepan que este logro es para ustedes. Los amo, familia. Olivia Barden. I want to thank my family and friends for their unconditional love and support during the last 2 years of nursing school. I look forward to being a great nurse and helping others in this next chapter of my life. Brigitte Nicole Bastista Ortiz. I would like to dedicate this accomplishment to all the people who have supported me throughout this journey. I am absolutely grateful for my grandmother, Carmen Farfan, and for making sure I stayed well-nourished, my family for understanding I could not always be there on important days, my supervisors for doing miracles with my schedule, for my nursing instructors for sharing their expertise with us, my patients for believing in me, and to everybody else who made this possible. Thank you. Carly Balada. Thank you to Mom, Dad, and Shelley for your unwavering support. And to my nursing school friends, without you all, I would have not been able to accomplish this goal. Thank you, Zach, for keeping me grounded through the chaos, always listening to my fears, and giving me motivation when I needed it the most. I am so grateful for you all. Kelly Brown. I dedicate this pin to you, Nubby, and promise that I made to you 22 years ago. A huge thank you to my husband, Chris, and our 3 boys, Sean, Alexander, and Grant. I couldn't have done it without you and your understanding, help, support, and love, and for believing in me even when I didn't. We did it. Thank you, Mom, Dad, David, Abby, and all of my family and friends. I love you all, always and forever. Dino Bukic. To my dad, my mom, who is with us in spirit, my partner Camille, and my friends and family, thank you for believing in me and constantly pushing me to do great things. Some might think of it as nagging, but I'm truly grateful. Without you, I would not be here today. Erica Cachapolia. I am thankful for the support my friends and family gave me, especially when it was needed. But I'm especially thankful for my father for all he has done. I physically wouldn't be here walking across this stage if it wasn't for him. Love you guys. Kayleen Caliendo. Thank you to Jay for the continuous support to follow my dreams. Also, thank you to my daughters, Addison, who has gone through nursing school with me in the womb, and Paisley, who handled mommy studying like a champ. You 3 are my greatest joys and inspiration. Robin Chandler. Here are my 80 words of thanks. To Mom, thank you. To all my family, your support means the world to me. To my dad, Mosey, Megan, and Cheyenne, thank you for cheering me on. To Arlo, this is for you, buddy. To my fellow students, we did it. And last but not least, to Jeff, you're amazing. Thanks for being strong enough to appreciate and cultivate the strength in me. Arlo and I are so lucky to have you. Tenzin Chime. I would like to thank my mom, who has been the greatest support during hard hours of nursing school. I am grateful for every delicious meal and coffee she has made for me. I am proud to graduate with an awesome group of future nurses. Love you, Kunga and Mom. Cheyenne Coffee. I would like to say a huge thank you to my family, friends, and boyfriend for helping me and supporting me through this chapter of my life. I love y'all. Emily Coyle. Thanks to my mom and dad for loving and supporting me throughout nursing school and for being there for me every step of the way. Thanks to my grandmother for being my first inspiration for becoming a nurse, and to my brothers, my friends, and everyone else who has ever supported me. I never would have been able to do this without you all. Rachel Lee Krigler. Thank you to my family, friends, and Michael for supporting me endlessly throughout this process and for believing me. Thank you to my Grammy, for you are my inspiration to be a hardworking, compassionate nurse. To my nursing school friends, thank you for always making me laugh and helping me study. I could not have done this without all the support I had from each of you. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Tara Durant. Because of them, I can now live the dream. I am the seed of the free, and I know it. I intend to bear fruit, Mother Sojourner Truth. So you may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I rise. Mother, Dr. Maya D'Angelo. Well, Mom, though it hasn't always been a crystal stair, we defied the odds by Allah's grace. Jade Eckerly. Thank you to my friends and family for their love and support throughout this crazy adventure. I couldn't have done it without you guys. I would also like to thank all the children I have nannied for giving me the inspiration and drive to become a nurse. And finally, I'd like to thank my cat for always being there and giving me a laugh and a break when I truly needed it. Yolanda Espinoza. I'd first like to thank God because without him, I wouldn't be here today. I thank my siblings, but especially Veronica and Jasmine for being my therapists through it all. Aleda, thank you for always pushing me to continue forward. Judy, thank you for opening up your home and allowing me to study and eat your food. Mama y Papa, esto es para ustedes. Los quiero mucho. Oba Farah Walker. I didn't think so. I'm going to read hers anyway. To my loving family, thank you for being supportive and so patient through this journey. Where is she? Do I have it? You're just in the wrong pile. I'm going to put it there and we'll read it later. Fair enough? Obviously, alphabetizing is not my thing. How about Lisa Figgins? Thank you to all my family and friends for believing in me. I couldn't have done this without all of you. Samantha Frankie. Difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations. I would like to thank my husband, Scott, for his endless love, faith, and support throughout this entire journey. Both of our families for their understanding and encouragement. Lauren and Kayleen for beginning and finishing this adventure by my side with friendship, motivation, and support each and every day. And my unborn son, Oliver, who has given me a new sense of purpose and determination in this next chapter of life. Would row 2 rise and join? Row 2, go ahead and rise. I'm leaving this here, I don't know how.
Linda Frimpong. I would like to thank the Almighty God for giving me the grace and strength to go through this program. I would also like to thank my family for the unwavering support. Without you, it would have been a struggle. My final gratitude goes to all my friends for their prayers and encouragement, as well as the instructors that I had throughout this program. What a journey it's been. Who said you can't do it? I say trust God and all is possible. Bruce Fry, too. The road that I traveled to get here has been long, with turns and steep hills. I would not have been able to do this without the love and support of my family. My wife, Scotty Ann, children, Megan and Bruce Edward, my mother-in-law, my parents, and my grandson, Jax. You gave me time and space to study, much encouragement, a safe place to regroup, or downtime with Jax to read a storybook. Thank you all so very much. Abigail Grappa-Haas. Thank you to all my family and friends for supporting me through these past 2 years, and shout out to my siblings for always managing me to make me laugh. Thank you to the wonderful nursing instructors who have encouraged and challenged me to the best that I can be, and to my fellow students for their help and camaraderie. Most of all, thank you to my loving and supportive boyfriend, Isaac, for always being my rock. Rebecca Gray. I would like to dedicate my pin to my husband and my parents. Thank you for your encouragement, love, and support over the past year. I would also like to thank the rest of my family. This journey has certainly taken a village, and I would not have been able to do it without each of you. Lastly, I would like to thank God. Becoming a registered nurse has been an answer to my prayer. Megan Hathaway. Thank you to my family for your constant support and pep talks over the last 2 years. Thank you to my husband, John, for your patience and understanding as I had to say, I am sorry I have to study. Way too many times. Thank you for your motivation and continued encouragement throughout this journey, and I couldn't have never done this without you. I love you all. Dari Hanley. Thank you, God, family, and friends, for the continued love and support. I wouldn't have made it here today without you. Caitlin Higgins. I finally did it. I was knocked down many times, but I kept getting back up and pushing forward. I would never have been able to get here without my family and their love and support. They kept me focused and stable through this crazy thing of nursing school to keep going. They will never know what they mean to me. I love you guys. Sanja Hogue. Whew, this day has finally come. Huge thanks to my father, my boyfriend, for the mood swings, my daughter for all those nights I couldn't play, and special thanks to my mother for constant support and encouragement. We made it. Ali Hogg. Thank you to my amazing family, Dad, Mom, and brother Andrew, for your unconditional love and support. I am so blessed by you all every day. Thank you to all the wonderful friends, classmates, and teachers for all the help and knowledge you've given me these past 2 years. Charlie Jackson. Woo-hoo! Big thanks to my sugar mama, Grace. Thank you for finding my scrubs the night before clinical, stealing packing passes from me, and pushing me along when I had sonorities the whole last semester. Thanks to my nursing friends who were great at therapeutic venting sessions, and to my family who have always supported me in my goals. Ashley Johnson. To my family, especially to my husband and mother, this has been a long, challenging journey. I just want you to know that I appreciate all of your love and support through this program. I would not be standing here today if it was not for that support. Thank you, and I love you. William Kern. A big thank you to Mom, Dad, Sarah, Adriani, family, and friends for your patience and incredible support throughout this journey. Love you all. Carrie Kessler. Thanks to my parents for their support and encouraging me to take academics seriously, my boyfriend for encouraging me not to take myself too seriously, older brother for college counseling, sister-in-law for listening to clinical stories, younger brother for keeping me laughing, little sister for believing I was a nurse since day one, Kaiser and Erickson grandparents for financial support, Ali and Jade for keeping me sane, and my crew church, Charlottesville and Blacksburg families for keeping me grounded in my faith. Soli Deo Gloria. Laurie King. First, a huge thank you to all my family and friends for your support. To my wonderful parents, thank you for the love and support over the years and pushing me to follow my dream. To my amazing husband, thank you for always being my rock, especially during the last 2 years. I appreciate everything you do for me and our little family. Lastly, I want to thank my Heavenly Father for putting me on the path to becoming a nurse. Jennifer Leteri. Thank you to all my family and friends who encouraged me to pursue my dream and supported me along the way. You all mean the world to me. A big thank you to my mom for being my biggest cheerleader, to Scott for being my rock and my 5 a.m. alarm clock, and to Lily, Carrot, and Zos for sharing all the kitty and puppy snuggles. I love you all so much. Tiana Mack. To my family, I appreciate each and every one of you and the sacrifices you've made that allowed me to be here today. To my mom, thank you for being my biggest supporter. You were my shoulder to cry on when things got stressful, and you were ready to celebrate with me when things were going great. I could not have made it through the past 2 years without your constant love, words of encouragement, and motivation. I love you all. Caitlin Meehan. I want to thank my friends and family that have been there for me throughout this journey. I want to thank my co-workers that helped me work around clinical schedules. Most of all, I want to thank my mom and dad. I couldn't have done this without them. They have been my biggest supporters and my shoulders to cry on. Thank you for everything, Mom and Dad. Anna Micale. To my family, this has been a long and challenging journey for us all. Thank you for your love and patience along the way. A special thanks to my husband for being my support system and always encouraging me to keep going when I was ready to give up. Lastly, to my fellow nursing classmates, I would not have gotten this far without you guys. I have made some amazing friends along the way, and I appreciate all of you. Ariel Miller. I would first like to thank my mother, Lisa Miller. I don't think I could have made it through this program without her. I want to thank my daughter, Rayleigh, for sticking by me even when I had to study instead of play. I would like to thank my sister, Tiffany, Fred, and my younger sister, Shannon, for all their help. Thank you to my grandmother, June McCauley. I am glad you were here to see this day. Erin Mishler. Thanks to my roommates for letting me live rent-free, and my boyfriend and friends for understanding I would be MIA for 2 years. Anna Moore. Thank you to everyone who has supported me and my decision to go back to school. I give special thanks to my mother for giving me a place to stay and helping me take care of my cat. Thank you to Robert's parents for their generosity and hospitality. Most of all, thank you, Robert, for being patient with me and standing by my side the entire time. I love you all, and I couldn't have done it without you. Luis Michaela Morales. For the roller coasters and sleepless nights, thank you, family and friends, especially Mom and Dad, for the endless support and for always being there for me. I would also like to thank God for giving me strength and guidance throughout every decision made that led up to this wonderful milestone. Good luck to everyone from here on out. Tiffany Putz. Putsy. I stand corrected. Thank you, Patty, for always getting me takeout the night before clinicals, supporting me when I wanted to give up, and making it possible for me to achieve this. Thank you to my fellow Blueberries and instructors who I've grown so close with over these 2 years. Thank you, Charlie, for motivating me to put on pants and come to class. And thank you to my grandma and mom, because I literally wouldn't be here without them.
Pause for effect. Okay, Sarah Radcliffe. I would like to thank the amazing instructors who inspired me and gave me purpose after a leap of faith career change. I'm grateful to have you as role models and appreciate your enthusiasm for nursing and our success. Most importantly, I would like to thank my husband, Seth, for always having my back, my friends for keeping me sane, and both amazing families for your constant encouragement. I could not have done this without your love and support. Lauren Roberge. Thank you to my amazing sister, my patient boyfriend, my family, and my friends, especially my Burton's girls, for all their love, support, and encouragement throughout this journey called nursing school. Thank you to all the strong women in my life who inspire me to go into nursing, who motivate me to be the best I can be, and inspire me daily. Take pride in how far you have come and have faith in how far you will go. Jessica Robeck. I want to thank all of my amazing classmates for their support and camaraderie. You guys are the best, and I learned so much from you. The clinical instructors for their patients during our nursing student growing pains. I'm looking at you, Buki. Now we all know which lung has 3 lobes. My partner, Jared, for being my rock while I stress monster, and my family and Jen for convincing me this was the right way into nursing. Thank you. Tamika Robinson. To God be the glory for the things he has done. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Special thanks to my mother, sister, and my daughter for being there for me when I felt like giving up. Thanks to my family, friends, and the professors for all of their support. Don't expect anyone to understand your journey, especially if they've never walked in your path. Alasia Rose. I would like to give special thanks to my mother, Gaynell, and my boyfriend, Ante. Without you two, this would have been nearly impossible to get through. You pushed me each day and always made sure I continued to be positive. You two never doubted me and always had faith. To my daughter, London, thank you. You are my motivation for never giving up when things became tough. I cannot wait to give you the world. I love you all. Kelly Rousseau. I walk for my amazing daughter, Lorelei, who will always be my why. Thank you to all of my friends and family for your support, especially my mom and dad, who dropped everything to be here when I needed them. And finally, for my husband, Jay. He started this journey by my side and ended it in my heart, but I will smile and find joy in life today and every day for him. Amanda Sager. I would like to dedicate my nursing degree to my wonderfully supportive parents, my Charlottesville mom, Ann, and my loving fiance. You guys made this journey all possible. I love you all. Ann Schmidt. It's not what happens to you, but how you react that matters. Thank you to my parents for showing me constant strength and love, for all those Lovenox shots at 7 a.m. and cups of hot coffee ready for me before class. Thank you to my friends and family for the infinite support and breakfast dates. And thank you to UVA pediatric hematology nurses and doctors who truly inspired this path I'm on. Shelby Sparks. First, to my mom for being my ultimate best friend and to listening to my many breakdowns, including, quote, I'm dropping out. To my dad for always encouraging me to be one step better and giving me the entire world. To my brother for serving this country with bravery, strength, and courage. Finally, to Alex, my sidekick. I could not have done it without you. Nursing school gave me the best gift, our endless friendship. Thanks, and see you at home. Katrina Staggs. Tom Hanks had a great line in the movie A League of Their Own. It's supposed to be hard. If it wasn't hard, everybody would do it. It's the hard that makes it great. This was a hard journey, but my thanks goes out to an amazing cohort, caring faculty, and incredibly supportive circle of coworkers, friends, and family. To the world's most amazing husband and kids, you've been my biggest fans, and I could not have done it without you. Thank you for all of your support. Tanya Stanchu. Thank you to my husband for many meals made and many early morning rides. Thank you to my parents for always being there for me. Thank you to my teachers for guiding me on the way. And thank you to my amazing boys. I helped you come into this world, but you have given me life. Dagny Thorson. Thank you, Derek, for supporting me and listening to me complain about school for the past 2 years. And thank you to my friends and family for cheering me on the entire way. Congratulations and best of luck to everyone on the next steps in your nursing careers. We made it. Crystal Todd. Thank you to my family and friends for their love and support while I accomplished one of my dreams. You were there when I needed the push to continue on and gave me the strength and courage I needed to succeed. To you all, I love you, and I could not have done this without you. Laura Vogt. Thank you, Jesus, for the plans you have for my life. Dave, thank you for being an amazing husband, always loving, listening, and encouraging me. Madison, Micah, and Piper, you guys are the most incredible kids on the planet, and I'm glad you're mine. Dad, Mom, Denise, Greg, Nicole, Ryan, thank you for praying and cheering me on. To my nursing school crew and all my other friends who stuck by my side, I'm so thankful for you. Oba Farah Walker. To my loving family, thank you for being so supportive and so patient through this journey. You are all a part of this accomplishment. I am so grateful for your encouragement and prayers. All I ever want to do is make you all proud. To my children, Layla, Aiden, and Sophia, I thank you most of all for giving me new dreams and a drive stronger than I've ever had. I love you all. Natalie Whitaker. Thank you, Mead, for supporting and encouraging me and for doing all that laundry. Thanks to my teeny tiny bean for babysitting Dad when I had clinical and for being such a big girl when Mom said, "We can't, I have schoolwork." A big thank you, Mom, Dad, and Nanny for their faith in me and watching Ellie. And thank you, Erin, for inspiring me to become a nurse and for all the advice and knowledge you share. Christy Wilson. To Luke and Grandma Saunders. When despair for the world grows in me and I wake in the night in fear of what my life may be, I go lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on water and the heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things and still water. I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Chelsea Wood. Thank you to my mom and dad who have been my rock throughout the years and been there for me to cry on. You have cheered me on and been my biggest fans and support system. To my family and friends who have prayed for me and endured my absence, moodiness, and being supportive, thank you. Importantly, I am thankful for Jesus Christ being my lifeguard and lighthouse. I couldn't be more thankful for those in my life throughout this journey. Ashley Woodson. Chick-fil-A for keeping me fed, the gym for keeping me sane, and my study buddies for pulling me through. Chelsea Wright. To my biggest supporters, Jesse and Noah, thank you for being a constant source of love, support, and motivation. Thank you for your patience and forgiveness. I couldn't have done this without you. A special thank you to my nanny, papa, grandma, granddad, and friends for your unconditional love and support, and to all of my family and friends who encouraged me never to give up. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you all. Francesca Yowell. I dedicate this pin to my husband and my best friend, Trevor. I cannot adequately put into words the amount of gratitude and respect that I have for you. Thank you for supporting me always and believing in me wholeheartedly. I would not have been able to accomplish the things I have without your unwavering love and support. We did it, sweet boy. We survived nursing school. Diana Yayura Zaney. To God Almighty, my rock and the master of the impossible, thank you. My parents of blessed memory, Christina and Michael Amane, I know you're looking down with pride. To my uncle who raised me, Walter Amani, also of blessed memory, thank you. My husband, Doja, I couldn't have done this without your support. My children, Michael, whose birthday is today, and David, you're my source of inspiration and zeal. Thank you to all my mates who have touched me in many ways through their kindness, especially Oba, Julie, Jenny, and Christy. God bless to our wonderful instructors, librarians, advising team, administrative personnel, and my mentors. Thank you all, and may God bless you. Alex Zarzuela. Thank you to my mom, my original inspiration for going into nursing, to my dad for relentlessly researching careers, then showing me the endless growth potential of nursing, to Corey for the many rides to clinical and always supporting me, to Getty Leanne for sharing pictures of Wilson while we were all away at school, and Shelby, I couldn't have done this without you by my side. No more giggling about being matching blueberries at 5 a.m. We did it.
And now I'd like to welcome to the podium Marlene Mayberry, who will give the presentation of the awards.
Good afternoon. Each year, PVCC's nursing program presents an award to outstanding students who have achieved above and beyond academically and professionally over the past 2 years as a nursing student. But before I present these awards, I would like to first have those students who are graduating today with an overall GPA of 4.0 from Piedmont Virginia Community College to stand and be recognized. It is now with great privilege and honor that we present the first award, which is the award for Best Overall Academic Performance in the Nursing Program of the 2019 graduating class. It was very close this year, as you can see, and we had a number of outstanding students within a fraction of one another. So we actually had to do a little dimensional analysis to figure it out. Only those who have graduated nursing school and those who have supported them know the magnitude of receiving this award. I am definitely aware of this magnitude because 9 years ago, I was graduating from PVCC's nursing program, and I also received this same award. So it only seemed fitting today that I could give this award for Best Overall Academic Performance to Tanya Stanchu. The second award is an award that recognizes outstanding clinical performance while in the clinical setting. This is a little more difficult to give because we as faculty have watched each of these students grow professionally, and we are very proud of them all. However, only one could be chosen by the clinical faculty, one from the day program and one from the evening program, to receive the award for Best Overall Clinical Performance. These students have consistently, over the past 4 semesters, have not only excelled in meeting all of their clinical competencies, but did so with compassion and with a collaborative mindset, looking past their own needs at times and helping others in their clinical groups. The student receiving the award for Best Overall Clinical Performance in the day program is Bren Acker. And from the evening program, the student receiving the award for Best Overall Clinical Performance is Robin Chandler.
Thank you. And now I would like for everyone to turn their attention to the screens as our wonderful students have created a slideshow to document their journey through our nursing program.
When you look back on times we had, I hope you smile and know that through the good and through the bad, I was on your side when no trying to break every single rule. A little girl, I need to stop from making it. I find each other burning to feel the tear. I keep thinking that it's not goodbye. Keep on thinking it's the time to fly. And this is how it feels. As we go on, we remember all the times we had together. And as our lives change from whatever.
What a wonderful journey. And now for the presentation of the Nursing Pledge, I'd like to welcome Kelly Farnsworth.
Before we do this, I want to make sure first all the nurses that stood up earlier in the audience would like you to stand up, please. The pledge is on the back of your bulletin, so please stand if you are a registered nurse already in the audience and on the front. And joining them, I would like to welcome the newest nurses, so please stand, class. On the back of your nursing pledge, we'll go ahead and read it together. In full knowledge of the obligations I am undertaking, I promise to care for the sick with all the skill and understanding I possess without regard to race, creed, color, politics, or social status, sparing no effort to conserve life, to alleviate suffering, and to promoting health. I will respect at all times the dignity and religious beliefs of the patients under my care, holding in confidence all personal information entrusted to me, and refraining from any action which might endanger the life or health. I will endeavor to keep my professional knowledge and skill at the highest level and to give loyal support and cooperation to all members of the health team. I will do my utmost to honor the International Code of Nursing Ethics and to uphold the integrity of the professional nurse.
Thank you. Y'all may be seated. Okay, so now as you go forth into practice, I charge you with the following. Continue your education. Nursing is a lifelong journey, and your nursing education here at Piedmont is only your first step. We have provided a strong foundation, but now you must build upon it. Whether you choose ICU, critical care, ER, or the smallest in the NICU, seek out opportunities to learn and grow in your practice. When leadership opportunities knock, answer the call and find a good mentor who can show you the way. James Kouzis and Barry Posner, authors of Leadership Challenge, identified 5 main practices of exemplary leadership. They found that when individuals are at their personal best, they model the way, inspire a shared vision, challenge the process, enable others to act, and encourage the heart. By incorporating these leadership strategies into your practice, you become a nursing leader. Model the way and set the example for others to follow by working hard and becoming a role model of excellence. When you are presented with new students, become the teacher and welcome them as you were welcomed when you first began. Inspire a shared vision and believe you can make a difference. Get nurses excited about the possibilities of the future. Challenge the process and look for innovative ways to improve care, and when faced with failure, use it as a learning opportunity. Become a scientist, because as nurses, we know evidence-based practice is essential to the practice of nursing. Always question, don't accept, we've always done it this way. Enable others to act and embrace collaboration. Create an atmosphere that makes each person feel their voices are heard and their input matters. Finally, encourage the heart. Support your fellow nurses and recognize everyone's contribution, whether it's to the unit or to a patient. And finally, I leave you now with another quote from the Mother of Nursing, Florence Nightingale. For the sick, it is important to have the best. Go forth and be the best, continuing to blaze the trail for others to follow. Congratulations, and thank you for allowing Piedmont to be the first step in your journey to becoming a nurse.